Hey everybody, and welcome to Coach's Corner with Catch Lift. My name's Tyler, and I'm joined by my co-host Melissa, and our guest today is Ivan Perez.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Ivan. Hey, Tyler. Tyler, why don't you kick the show off and give us a brief introduction of yourself?
Sounds good. So my name is Tyler Gant. I served 4 years in the United States Marine Corps as an artilleryman. Like so many of our veterans here with Catch Lift, I myself was injured in the line of duty, and that drastically altered my career and my life after the service. It just caused me to use physical fitness as a type of mental and physical therapy, which led me into actually owning a gym, becoming a competitive strongman, and now working for the Catch a Lift Fund and serving my fellow veterans after I was finished with service. How about you, Melissa?
I'm Melissa Luke, and I served in the Wisconsin Army National Guard for 5 years. I spent December 2004 through December 2005 as a HET driver in Iraq. And I came home from Iraq, and I lost many years of my life to chronic pain, post-traumatic stress. Fitness, but more specifically strength, would be the catalyst to pull me from the dark and get me back into the light. I'm a wife, mother, competitive strong woman, and I'm blessed to serve as the head coach for the Catch a Lift Fund.
Sounds great. So we'll get right into it today. Let's introduce Ivan Perez. Ivan, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Yeah, man. I was in the Marine Corps. I was in 0331 with a 27 Fox company, weapons platoon. When I was deployed, I was hit by a sniper right underneath my SAPI plates. So it grazed the spine, damaged the nerves coming out of my spine, causing my right leg to get paralyzed from the knee down. I didn't have it like a fast onset struggle right away. It took me like about a year to like start going into that dark place and whatnot. And then once I did, it was really hard to get out of it. Chronic pain, nerve pain. So there was a lot of medication involved and stuff like that. And I later on, I ended up getting married, and I felt like it was causing a lot of problems in my marriage and whatnot. And I just wanted better for myself. I let myself go. I was in a really unhappy place. I was the biggest I had ever been like at 260 something pounds without one leg. So I just wanted change for myself, and I had to be really honest with myself and just bring that change to myself and learn to love myself again. Over that time, I learned to just simply enjoy how much passion I have for it. And before that, I have a cooking background from before, like doing all this fitness stuff. So it all just really just came together. And I just, like you said, Tyler, I started learning as much as I could and got into personal training and stuff like that. And right now, it's really just about helping other veterans and people that want to get better and don't know where to start. It's just more about a guidance and little things that'll tweak everything, make it that much better and see results faster. Because with you, Melissa, and you too, Tyler, right? When you're trying to build strength again and stuff like that, there's a big learning curve,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Absolutely.
I want to
And
be able to help with that learning curve and be able to shorten that out, but show the proper movements, a proper form, and stuff like that to be able to prevent injury and have them have a really long fitness journey and enjoyable too, because that's how you see the best results. So here I am now, and freaking loving it. So
yeah, and like you said you used to be about 270,
yeah,
and
man.
now we've got a picture from when you were around 270.
Oh
We
yeah,
could,
Fat Ivan.
yeah, Fat Ivan. We'll throw that up there and show everybody the progress that you've made. And
Yeah, thanks.
how long is it? How long has it been since that picture?
Uh, it's going on 4 years now, but I reached like where I wanted to be probably last year. Yeah, last year was when I was probably like where I want to be, but at this point, we're going 4 years now. So yeah, it's been quite a fun journey, and the reality is that it's not all great. I deal with chronic depression and stuff like that. So it's a lot of times getting myself out of the rut and just kind of like getting myself checked, like, hey, check yourself, let's go, kind of thing. And unfortunately, sometimes when you plateau and stuff like that, it's hard to get there. And yeah, I mean, it's okay to take a week off or whatever. It's okay to just eat like crap for 2 or 3 days, but always remembering like kind of why everything started is a big thing for me.
So let's dive right into that,
Let's
Ivan.
do it.
Because a lot of people are dealing with, you know, everybody's life has changed drastically with the COVID lockdown. So let's talk about you and that mental mindset, and how is that playing in right now into this uncertain time for you?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely. I mean, isolation is definitely something to get adjusted to. I joke around with everybody and tell them, I was in the Marine Corps, so I can hurry up and wait for a long time. But and right, you can go about it one or two ways. You can sit there and I don't want to say use the word defeated, but you can sit there and say, well, I can't do anything about it because I can't go to the gym, I can't do this, I can't do that.
Right.
Right. Or you can look at it from a different perspective. And in my perspective was how can I come out at least equally as good as I was or better from this? Right. And it's just the biggest thing for me was breaking down like what are the essential things I would need to be able to get to where I want to get, and or not like just waste a month of my life, right?
Right.
And that's exactly what I did. I kind of like stayed up all night one day and kind of put a little like game plan together. I went to Walmart, bought like 6 whiteboards, one for every day of the week, which is a lot better than having just one because everything gets cluttered. And then I just have a stack of whiteboards, right? And then after that, I ended up figuring out like what were the essential tools that I would need. I knew I needed a pull-up bar, so I went to Lowe's, bought some 6x4s and a 1-inch pipe, and did like a really tall pull-up bar in the backyard, which is probably the most essential thing. I have a tire, I have clubs, maces, I have like one set of kettlebells, and the most important thing to me because you can take them anywhere is bands. I bought just the bands that I needed and stuff like that. A couple of sandbags and things like that. But I was pretty fortunate that you guys were able to get me an air bike, and I also had a skier. So the only thing I'm waiting on right now I'm trying to get was a rower, and I have a hand cycle. So all I did was just really adjust everything and be able to structure it.
It's just like like they say, when you're in, you at times you're gonna have to pull back and adjust fire.
Yeah.
And that's all this quarantine is you're gonna have to adjust fire and figure out how to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Or at least if you can't move forward, stay on track and hold your position.
Exactly.
Totally. Totally.
To where you're not gonna backslide and become that person with the couch growing out of his ass. Like, so I think scheduling is probably the biggest thing in that, especially like what you said about your whiteboards. That right there, I never thought of that.
Yeah, me neither. Well, I was sitting there and I look at my girlfriend. I'm like, why didn't I think of this sooner? Because you just have one whiteboard, right? Like you get one whiteboard, but then as you're adjusting your workouts, as you're like so for me to have a mainstay workout, right, I gotta feel like, okay, that's hitting everything I need for upper body, and I have a lower body workout because I still work out my lower body. I want to make sure that it hits everything that I needed to hit in my lower body. And once I find that workout, it's like, all right, that's set in stone for the next 6 weeks. That's going to be my upper day, and that's going to be my lower day. Or if I want to do chest and tris, back and bis, same thing.
Yeah.
But it's just so much more easy, and it doesn't take up a lot of space. It's like a little stack like that thick, So it's great, and yeah, I feel like this whole thing, the whole COVID thing, has really let me focus on the deficiencies that I have. Like even with the skier, right? Like the reason I use the skier so much, the main motion for my sport is right here. And even just really like diving in, even though I hate it sometimes, like because that thing kicks my ass. I can tell that like I don't lock in my right side of my hip because that's where my injury is. I can tell that like I'm pulling a lot stronger with my left, like I'm pushing a lot stronger with my left, with my right. And even like shooting pucks in the backyard, I tend to notice I'm like, I'm not as accurate with my left as I am with my right. And all those little things I get to adjust. But the best part is I get to do it out of the comfort of my home. And we were talking about like getting into the workout and stuff like that. And if like I'm having a hard day with that skier, and that skier is kicking my butt, like I'm probably gonna sit there and I'm gonna fight with that skier. I'm gonna think of every possible like bad word I can think of in my vocabulary, and when I beat it, I'm gonna let them know that I beat it. And you can do that in your house
Heck
without
yeah.
And
people looking at
Yeah,
you.
people aren't looking at you like you're crazy, right? They're not
Yeah.
telling the gym manager.
but,
Yeah, like this
Heck
guy's
yeah.
gonna break it. I
and
remember one time.
that's all that all goes back to mindset, man. Like what you're saying is awesome, because you you're just taking a bad situation, the quarantine thing, and you're just changing your mindset to it. Now, like, instead of looking at it like, which I'm guilty of quite often, of, man, I have to work out at home, you know, and you're looking at it as, I get to do this shit out of the comfort of my home, and I don't have to have anybody staring at me while I
Yeah,
work on my weaknesses. Like, that's 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 the
That's all
power of
mindset.
mindset.
That's all mindset.
yeah,
Yeah, it's the power of
100%.
mindset.
Yep.
And that, like, hopefully a lot of people see that, or find that out during this time, and understand it, and that carries out past this once we actually get to go back to, the glory of a gym, and they
yeah,
take that with them.
yeah. I'm curious to see like what effect this is gonna have on people, knowing that.
Mhm.
I myself, I have a great gym that I go to, yeah, and there's several great gyms that I go to. But to be honest, like I don't think anything's gonna be able to replace this, because it really lets me focus on me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the one thing I learned, because I mean, I, people see the wheelchair and they think that I can't do a lot of things, which is fine. Like, I mean, I don't expect you to understand my situation, but it can be really like frustrating sometimes when you're working on handstands or working on certain things, and people are just staring at you like, what the fuck is this guy doing? He's in a wheelchair. So stuff like this, I can just really dive in and focus on my stuff, and really like make sure that I'm exceeding my goals every single week. I was telling you about that AMRAP workout that I put together. I mean, that thing
Yeah.
was my butt. And this week, I made it my bitch. I mean, that's really what I'm gonna say.
Totally.
Right.
So, and then the goal is six rounds in 20 minutes, and I'm up to 4, and like that's I can really progress on myself with all that stuff, and that's what I enjoy the most. And yeah, I don't want to see it as a negative. I want to see it more as, like, just kind of be ready when it's over, and go back and appreciate that I can go skate anytime I want, man. Because like sometimes when you do something so much, you get burned out on it. But when it gets taken away from you, you're like, oh man, I miss it. I can't wait. Like I'm stoked.
I think there's like a couple things here to really, look at. Tyler hit, you hit it down. It's mindset, right? So we're all at home, look at it with a positive mindset. When you get back in that gym, hopefully, right, like you said, you're appreciating it more. But what I want to kind of circle back to is what Ivan said at the beginning. This is a time where he's, looking at areas, he really wants to improve with himself.
Yeah. Focus
And
on your weaknesses.
yeah, focus on your
Mhm.
weaknesses, and I know it's been extremely frustrating for a lot of our veterans. Um, everybody's had to, adapt and adjust very quickly to working out at home. Guys that were used to being in the gym, guys and gals, working out in power racks. Yeah, exactly. Throwing barbells around, a lot of weight. Suddenly they're at home. They can't order dumbbells, weights out everywhere.
Yeah.
And so I think, though, my message to people has kind of been, right, like, use this as a time to, start, working that unilateral strength. Like, you're usually not doing that in the gym. That's not fun stuff. It's not throwing around hundreds of pounds. It's not exciting to watch people do,
Yeah.
pistol squats. But you know what? You're going to be a better athlete when you get back in that gym and under a heavy bar. Start doing unilateral leg work. Start doing just, focusing on, smaller muscle groups. Start looking again, taking care of your tendons and ligaments. I think we can really miss that sometimes when you're just, you're focused kind of on a bigger picture and that end goal.
Awesome.
So
That's awesome. That's so true. I mean, it's funny you say the whole like throwing around a lot of weight and stuff like that, because it's really important to make sure that you if you're venturing into fitness, you train everything properly. and almost never. And that's I see this face sometimes, especially from guys, right? When you start training them and stuff, they'll come and be like, "Well, I wanted to lift this and that," but they can't even lift, they can't even externally rotate 10 pounds.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's always going to be my main focus, and yeah, it's being able to like do that at home by yourself and being able to figure out, like my external is a lot stronger than my internal. I need to work on my internal, or vice versa, or
Right.
with me, if I don't focus on like my lower body, I've noticed that like the right side that's paralyzed doesn't respond as well on my sled. So if I don't do core and I don't do lower body, so payoff presses or just planks, stuff like that, I notice a big difference in my just my balance on the sled itself. So it's all the little things that I can kind of like sit there and stretch, and I'm like, man, my quads are like super tight. So now I can focus on my quads, stretch that out. If I want to work on handstands, I can do that. But yeah, it's just, I mean, all that plays off to being able to lift the heavy weights, to being able
Yeah.
to do all the stuff you want to do, but staying function at the same time and staying healthy. You want those ones to stay healthy no matter what.
Right. Reducing that rate of injury.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, for any viewers watching, I just wanted to remind everybody we are taking questions. So if you have any questions for Ivan, Melissa, or myself during this live stream, feel free to ask it in the chat, and we'll answer anything appropriate.
Appropriate questions. Make sure they're appropriate
This is
questions,
vets.
man.
Let's
If
clarify
it's
here what we're
veterans,
talking about.
we're getting
Yeah.
all sorts of freaking like really dumb requests. So let's
To-
make sure we clarify
yeah,
appropriate. Yeah.
topic related appropriate questions. Okay, no smoke pit banter. But so Ivan, so you're training for sled hockey.
Yeah, it's kind of like something that fell in my lap. Yeah, go ahead.
How'd you come across that, and like what, like, kind of tell us like what drew you into it?
Um, what made me like want to pursue it was how challenging it is. It's not a pity sport, right? So there's I mean, there's different levels, but the level that I play at, it's not a pity sport. And like I understand everybody gets a trophy thing and all that to keep them motivated and whatnot, but
Mhm.
that's not how I grew up, right? I in a competitive lifestyle, when you grow up, right, it's about like being better than the other person or whatever. And I really learned that at a young age that the amount of work you put in is going to show. You,
Yeah.
you can say all sorts of things, but it'll show. And my first season, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. So I originally played sled hockey when I first got hurt in 2007. So I was like 2007, 2008 that I tried it once, and I mean, I just wasn't in a good place mentally. And one day I just snapped, and I was like, you know what, I'm done. Like I just left all my gear and left, and then never looked back. I went and ventured into my own life and all that. But I just feel like it came into my life at the right time, and that's what made me pursue it because I had some issues with Social Security where they overpaid me. They made a mistake when I got hurt, and they overpaid me like I think it was like $70,000 or $80,000 that I have to pay back, even though it wasn't my fault, kind of thing. So I had to quit my job, which I had to work so hard to be able to do what I love for the rest of my life, which is being a chef. It's like my thing. I want to devote the rest of my life to it because it's something that just you can tell how happy it makes me. And I had to quit that, and my marriage was done, and I said it was over. So I went from having a job to having my two little girls with me and watching them grow, and just the lifestyle everybody wants to, like a dead home, and that's what I call it. I call it a dead home because it was dead. Even right now, like I'm finally like start. That's what this COVID thing has let me. That's the one thing it's helped me with, and we'll go back to that, But when there's a lot of pain and suffering in a place you really don't want it, right? And like I if it wasn't for my dog, it's insane, like where I would have gone because I was seeing myself going that direction. And
So you'd say like the sled hockey was kind of like that the outlet
yeah. So I mean,
to
I
get
was
away, to get your mind off all that.
yeah.
So like being an adaptive athlete, how like, so you said you played hockey before your injury?
Yeah, just for probably like less than a season or less. Yeah, it was just
How different, other than the fact that you're on a sled now, like how's that change it in a, like, is that way more challenging?
well, yeah. So you're balancing yourself on two blades, and those blades are probably like mine are like an inch and a quarter apart,
Mhm.
and core is number one. And instead of one stick, you have two sticks. I didn't play hockey growing up. I played like after I got hurt.
Okay.
But yeah, but I mean, compared to uprights, uprights have two shooting positions, which is your forehand and your backhand. With sled hockey, you have two sticks that you're holding at the very top. And actually, I have one right here. So you have your stick, right, and you're holding it from the top to propel yourself like a ski. And then when you're shooting, you learn to shift your hand down and be able to take that shot.
Wow.
The big
Nice.
thing is that you have two sticks, so you have four shooting positions at all time. You got your backhand and your forehand, and you want to be able to try to train them equally.
Mhm.
But yeah, it just came at the right time in my life because all that was going on, and it was like my outlet, and I just went from there. They didn't realize it, and then probably like 3 weeks, no, probably like 6 months into it, I was like, you know what, like, well, what's as high as I can go, kind of thing, not realizing what I was getting myself into, and being probably naive about it and thinking, oh yeah, I'll figure it out. And oh man, there's such a learning curve to it. It's insane. It's insane. And but that's what I love about it. I like things that challenge me. I like things that frustrate me and make me want to have to learn to get better. If I'm learning and it's challenging, then that's really my thing. That's you will see me light up. And that's
That's
what I love
awesome.
about it. I've never played hockey in my life, so I had to learn what offsides was. I had to learn what icing was. I had to understand a lot of things. Even right now, the biggest thing I'm focusing on is, and I can't wait to go back, but it's more about um, having two options at all times, and just being a smarter hockey player because you know in the Marine Corps you just tunnel vision and you just go right. Like that's like the one thing that I'm really good at doing. Right, I'll get on my
Right.
hand cycle or something, and I just tunnel vision a goal or whatever. Okay, I want to do 15 miles or whatever, and I mean, I'm just going. I'm not thinking about it. So I tend to do that sometimes, and I want to be able to change that because it's affecting me more. It's helping me, but it's the challenge of it that really drew me into it and made me like fall in love with it. And yeah, I can't wait, man. I'm super stoked for all this to be over and be able to just hit the ice and just. Not to mention you can fucking haul ass. That's the best part. Like feeling like that.
Speed.
Yeah, man. Like you're going, and then you're warmed up, and then you want to. I always like to do like one really as hard as I can, like a fast lap, and I like feeling the wind in my face, man. That's like an awesome fucking feeling. And then
Ivan, are you? Oh, sorry.
go
So
ahead.
go on
No,
there.
no,
No, I was going to say, are you able to do any sports specific training? Right now at home. I know you're doing. You know, you're working on a lot of different stuff, but like sports specific for that hockey. Like, what are you able to still do now at
yeah.
home?
Well, everything that I'm doing right now, everything that I'm doing right now is sports specific. So whatever I was telling you that I break down the workout for the day or whatever. Like a lot
Yep.
of things that I'm doing are sports specific. I don't want to have curls for the girls or anything like that. To me, it's more about like, is it going to benefit my sport?
Yeah.
I have the skier, which is the most important thing. It's a crucial tool to have to be able to get there. I have pucks at home. I have a passing little thing where you just work on your passing, and
Okay.
I work on a forehand. I work on my side, and then I'll do like just straight back passes and stuff. I have a net in the backyard, and I have marked out where the hash mark would be, and on the ice. And the only thing I don't get to do is get on the ice and work on my edge work and stuff like that. But my goal is to be able to strengthen everything I can with everything that I'm doing right now. So when I get on the ice, it's working on my edge work, working on little things like that that I obviously can't do here. But yeah, everything that I'm doing right now is sports specific, and
Nice.
that's why I'm really loving this whole like isolation thing because I'm really focusing on me. Not how many times haven't you guys gone to the gym? I don't know if this happened to you guys, but like to me, I'll go to the gym with a plan and all that, and then you see your gym bros, right, and you're like already, focused on a plan, and then they tell you what they're doing. I was like, oh, dude, you know what? Let's do this. You know what I'm saying? So like, I mean,
Totally.
even though it's fun and yeah, like if I wasn't playing a sport or whatever, like it'd be awesome to do that. Here, I get to be able to just like ignore all that and focus on the things that I need to focus on. And
Yeah.
I'm honestly, I'm loving it, man. Like I I'm not an introvert. I'm an extrovert. I mean, I love talking to people. I love all that. But in the end, there's times where you need to just really focus on your stuff and really just like put your head down and say, I need to fix this, I need to fix this, and I need to fix that. Because if not, it's just all you're doing is going in circles. So
Yeah.
yeah, everything I'm doing is sports specific for me here. At least I think it is because it's always learning, man. It's
Oh,
every
absolutely.
that's
Absolutely.
what I love about the fitness industry. It's you're always adjusting and learning, so
Yeah.
Well, it definitely sounds like you're handling the whole quarantine situation better than most of us.
yeah. How are you
far,
handling it, Tyler?
far better than me. Uh, I never thought I'd say this, but I've started running again,
Yeah. I've
and
been trying to run for 12 years, man. I miss
The
it.
quarantine made a runner out of you, Tyler?
well, I have zero equipment at home, so it's either do reps on Netflix or go out and try to breathe real air and move. Um, but I try like I don't know. I've never been big on the body weight stuff. I've always been stuck in that, which this isn't great, but I've always been stuck in that mindset of, well, if I don't have a couple 100 pounds worth of weight, it's not worth me doing anything, which is completely wrong. But um, so I went out the other day. I did a run and then did some like air squats and side lunges and push ups and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Um, Figured out how out of shape I am right now. It's, it was good, but it's not bad. I have a hard time with the keeping the sleep schedule,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
think is probably the most important important thing
Yeah.
of even normal life is keeping your sleep schedule, because that translates right back into your training, because if you're not sleeping,
You're not recovering,
you're
man.
not recovering. And if you're not recovering, well, you're spinning wheels, like you're not getting stronger. You're working towards an injury. So like that's been the hardest thing for me, I think, is the sleep schedule, and that like it just wrecks everything else.
Yeah,
So
no,
Yeah.
same for me, brother. I mean, same for me. It's unfortunately it's one of the biggest issues that I have, and sometimes I got to muscle through stuff which I know I shouldn't, but it's just I struggle with sleep like crazy, man. Like it's insane. What about you, Melissa? You struggle with sleep at all?
Oh, it's been I would say just kind of a nightmare for the past 12, it's been almost 15 years since I've been home, almost, or maybe been 15 years. Yeah, it's been a constant issue. Um, you know, I think I've tried a lot of different, natural ways to kind of deal with it. And I've really tried to focus in on, making sure I don't have screen time, an hour before bed, stuff like that. Um, I try to make sure, at night that, and this kind of goes along with that, like, no screen time, but just content in general. I'm not reading anything that might overly stimulate me before bed, kind of getting into conversations that, might kind of rile me up. But I've never really been able to find anything like super great through the years. I
Yeah,
think it kind of, for me, it kind of goes in cycles, and it's like you'll get in, a couple weeks where it's bad, and, that's definitely hard to try to navigate through that. Like you guys both said, it dominoes to every other part of your life,
hmm
but I think, stuff that everybody can implement that does help, schedule your day, schedule in when your downtime is at night, schedule in, quiet time before bed. Um, I mean, I even do that in the morning when I wake up, before I, start engaging with, my husband and daughter and stuff. Like I make sure I've had at least, 30 minutes or if not an hour to kind of do some kind of quiet time before I get up and kind of face the family. Cause yeah, if you've had a bad night,
yeah,
that can be a bit dicey.
yeah. I do something similar. I in the morning as soon as I wake up, I'll chill out, just kind of like brush up, listen to a little bit of music, and my thing is playing. Normally, it's either playing the guitar or doing something I enjoy for an hour before I get my day going. I think that's really important because you tend to
So important. Yeah.
yeah you tend to do something that you enjoy and you love, and that gets you to where, you want to tackle the day or whatever. It's one thing I've learned. It's really that when I used to come back from work, that was another thing was I would sit in the car for a little bit to not bring in whatever energy I was
Yeah.
with my family, because it's different when you're quarantining with family, man. You guys are dealing with each other every single day.
Right.
So, and you might deal with each other every single day, but you tend to go and do your own thing every day, and
Yep.
Yeah.
it makes a difference when you're with them 24/7. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a big thing, having starting your day out with your own time, which I mean, I've read several books and listened to a bunch of podcasts where you hear that specific thing come up a lot when people are talking about daily routine and all that. They start their day with nobody else but them for half an hour to an hour,
Yeah.
and I've done it a couple times. I need to do it more because I'm one of those people where as soon as I wake up, I'm going. Like,
yeah,
if and that's just from the Marine Corps, and I'd say that probably resonates with a lot of veterans out there,
Hmm.
where we're gonna if we have to, like, I mean, we all had to be up for PT at 05. We'd be in the rack until 04:45 or 4:50, and then we'd roll out, throw green on, and get in formation as fast as we could. And I think that translates a lot now to we're doing the same thing, but in the civilian life. So we're running the clock all the way up to, all right, I
Yeah.
have to get up now, and I have 10 minutes to get dressed and throw coffee down before I have to get out the door. And it's definitely not a great way to start your day. Not a productive day,
yeah.
anyways.
I
Uh,
think something though, I'll just say real quick, guys, something that kind of helped me kind of switch out of that mindset. And I'm not going to say that, I'm 100% out of it because, that urge is there. Yeah.
All the
You
time.
know, yeah, I can lay here for 30 minutes and meditate or go sit in a quiet room, or I can get up and, start tackling my day. But if you schedule that time in and you look at that as a task that is a part of your day, so kind of rewrite that framework in your head. You are getting up and you're starting your day, but it's 30, 60 minutes of very dedicated time, that's to you, and that's going to look different for every person.
yeah,
And it, for myself, it looks different to me every morning. Some mornings it's, I do it with prayer or some type of other meditations, or maybe I'm going to start my morning off just reading, like that's where I'm at. And that's okay, but again, just schedule it in there, like, I don't know, Tyler time, whatever you want to call it, but do it with intention. If it's done with intention, I think that can kind of help that mindset.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it definitely makes a difference. With me, everything is a schedule. Everything is normally like a week ahead because I have a brain injury, and one of the ways me and my therapist came up with being able to still function with my brain injury. It's not that bad. The TBI isn't as bad as some people have it, but it's still bad enough to where it affects my memory and whatnot. And that's crucial to me. I go on my notes on my phone, and I have a weekly thing that I need to do, right? And then I'll take that, and I will kind of program my week for the week. So I'm always a week ahead, and I go on my. There's this great app on. I have an iPhone, and it's called what's it called? It's called a week calendar. Literally called week calendar. But what it does is really cool. It syncs into your iPad and to your watch. So no matter what I have to do, it constantly reminds me, hey, this is next. This is next.
Nice.
And what I've learned to do, because it's trial and error, and we're not perfect, man. So you if you don't get it down the first time, so be it. If you get it down for 3 days in a week in a row, cool, man. Next week, shoot for 4, shoot for
Yep.
5. Eventually, it becomes routine, But don't beat yourself up and say, hey, well, I just can't do this. Like, no, just set realistic goals and say, all right, I'm gonna do it for 3 days, and the
Yeah.
rest, whatever. And that's really helped me. The only other thing I've learned is to put some sort of variance in whatever I got to do. So if I gotta work out for an hour and a half, and I have like a time blocked off for an hour and a half, I'll give myself 2 hours to 2.5 hours just in case something happens
Yeah.
before or after. And if not, that's free time for yourself. Just chill.
Yeah.
And I love just like I have a wood shop where I'll build furniture sometimes, and I play music and stuff like that. And I do all these things because these are things that challenge me, but they also challenge me mentally. And when I'm like mentally exhausted, like you see it in my face. You know I'm gonna like knock out like a rock,
You're just
right?
kind of dead behind the eyes.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
You know.
I'm still going, but my brain is
Yeah.
like, dude, you like just challenge me way too much today.
And really this time, like right now with the quarantine, especially, like, I mean, I know some people are still working, but a lot of people aren't, so they have an abundant amount of time to restructure their day to day and their habits. And I think right now is a really great time to do that, because it takes 21 consecutive days to form a new habit,
Yeah.
to break an old one and form a new one. And like you were saying, you know, you have your planner, the app planner that reminds you, like, even if that's not like a medium that you people would like to use, you know, you could write stuff down
Yeah,
one way or another. You need to put it down on either paper or in your phone
Yeah.
somewhere where you can see that,
of course.
and it will not just remind you by pinging your watch or your phone, but when you see that, it'll remind you that you wrote that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for a reason.
Yep.
You told yourself that I'm going to do this. I need to do this or whatever. So it'll remind you not to lie to yourself and to follow through with it. And it's crazy. And 21 days sounds like a long time, but it's only 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Totally.
you can change a lot in that time, especially when it comes down to habit forming. You know, like if you don't like waking up in the morning, if you wake up early, I don't care if it's 3 or 4 days in a row, you're going to become a morning person. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's and like that. The biggest thing though is writing that stuff down, like you're saying, Ivan. Like keeping that reminder rolling and actually doing it. But you have to start somewhere with putting it down on paper.
Yo,
Yep.
just get a whiteboard, put it right in front of your bed. As soon as
Yeah,
you wake up, you're gonna see it right there, you know. And it's just so it's a constant reminder, like you said. I read
yeah,
a book about just the same thing. The thing about books about the like the human mind is that when you read a really good book, all the other books you read they tend to just pretty much regurgitate what the book said, you know. But
hmm
like they go to extremes where people will literally put the notes or whatever they need to do. They'll put it in their entrance. They'll put it in their fridge. They'll put it. I mean, I don't do it to that extreme, but there's a lot of different ways. But I think the most important thing is that people don't need to feel like they need to change. Do the change that you want to do for you. So when you want to do it for you, then you want to change, and that's
Yeah.
like, if you've seen the stuff we've talked about in the past, that's something crucial. Because even me, like I'm not fucking sorry, I'm not perfect, So that's one so far. uh, I'm not perfect, So I know I'm not perfect. I know like I'm gonna have my days where I'm gonna go down, but I choose not to take medication. I choose not to take anything to be able to like deal with my depression or whatever. To me, it's more if I'm really having honestly like a really crap day or crap week. All I'll do is I'll just work out till I can't lift anymore, man. That's just something. I mean, that's not ideal, and I don't want people to think do that every single time because that's not right. It's my outlet. It's something that like I know when everything's going bad, I just shut everything out, man, and I just go and I get we're talking about that tunnel vision, and I just go and I don't know that helps me out. But the thing is I want to do things. I want change. I want to be a better human every week, every day.
And
so that's like your
that's
mental reboot.
Yeah, man. It's just a lot of times I tend to forget why I started things, and I got to remind myself sometimes. And like in the end, everything that I do, everything in my life is to be the best possible example for my kids. Because until my kids were born, I didn't feel like I had a purpose. I couldn't find my next purpose. I went from shooting machine guns to being infantry to like now what? And
mm,
those dark years, that's what it was. It was
Yeah.
trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I mean, hell, I went to school for music. I, ended up going to school to be a chef. I ended up fishing the Bassmaster circuit. I did all sorts of stuff. I opened a woodworking business. Like it was just me trying to figure out what my purpose was, and it sucks, man. And I just came to the reality that I'm never gonna know what my purpose is until I'm old. If I get to be that old, I'll figure out my purpose then, because you will reflect back on everything, kind of like see everything, uh, opening up. But my only main purpose right now is, I deal with a disability every single day. My little girls see me with a disability every single day. I don't want them to think that it's okay to just feel sorry for yourself and wait to die in the couch because
Yeah.
disability.
Absolutely.
And that's my biggest motivation for everything, even when I forget a lot of times, and just having good people around you is crucial. I can't tell you how many people I've like shut off out of my life because I don't need that, because I know I deal with certain things, but that all comes down to me wanting to be a better person. And that I think that's like the key word there, to be able to like progress into anything, whether you want to do a habit for 21 a new habit for 21 days, whether you want to break an old habit for 21 days, you want to do it because you want to be a better person. And
Yep.
you feel like you're gonna break when you feel like, hey, like I want to eat like shit today, right? Okay, look in the mirror and say you want to be a better person, and that's gonna remind you, like, oh, like I got this, and you'll
Yeah.
be
It's
so
always, you've always got to have like a progression
self
in
motivation.
mind,
Yeah,
and
self
and
motivation.
and that's
Mhm.
it. And it's self motivation and dedication.
Hmm.
We're getting close to the end. So before we actually get out of here, since we're still locked down in this quarantine, which hopefully isn't that much longer, let's talk about home exercises real quick,
Let's do it.
which y'all two are probably like the gurus on that. So
Oh, girl.
Ivan, what are
Yeah.
your like top three? We'll do top five home exercises that are
Uh,
like your favorite.
my favorite conditioning is one of my favorite things, because you'll know how in shape you are. So any sort of conditioning, whether it's an air bike, whether it's going on a run, whether it's going on a bike ride or anything like that, just conditioning in general.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like a lot of workouts that are battle ropes, sandbags, stuff like that. But the movements I focus on, the main target that I always have is 2-to-1 ratio with pull to push. So I love doing, I love benching and stuff like that, but I do a lot of pulling. Well, I do more pulling than I do pushing. And yeah, I mean, it's more not about weights, but more about movements and figuring out what I got to struggle with. I enjoy a lot of calisthenics and things like that. Those are probably, I know it's kind of a vague answer, but it's just there's a lot that goes into it. And
Yeah.
I'd say like pull ups, V ups or handstands, or handstand push ups, stuff like that. Things that challenge me. Things where I know I struggle, because I
Mm-hmm.
want to come back to it and kind of get better with it.
What about you, Melissa?
Oh man, so much. I gotta, full disclosure, I'm a home workout geek, and it's just my favorite thing in the world. So this is definitely a good time for me.
Yeah,
But
I'd say.
no, in all seriousness, though, I really like doing. Right now, the weather's finally getting warmer outside in Wisconsin, so trying to do as much outside as I can. Um, I'm a strong woman, so I really enjoy carrying things. So a medley would be right at the top of my list. Get some type of either heavy kettlebell if you have it, or something I can just carry, and I'll carry it down 50, 70 feet, drop it, and then carry like a sandbag back or a rock, or if you don't have any of that, maybe even my kid that day. So some type of like front load carry, right? Like either with like a kid, and also in that medley, some type of farmer type carry or suitcase carry.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've got a porch outside on my house, and it's about 16 inches off the ground. So box jumps up on the porch, dips off of the porch. Same thing, stand on the side of the porch, and I like to do unilateral leg work. So like eccentric step downs off it. And if that's too easy for you that day, then I like to add in like a time, like maybe a time 5-second eccentric. Um, so can do that. I like push-ups, love push-ups. So anything I can do off my porch like that, push-ups and some type of carrying heavy stuff. And if you don't have anything heavy to carry, if you got kids, carry them.
Make
Or
them
a dog.
useful.
Yes, yes.
So
Totally.
yeah, that's a lot better than I would say on home workouts because
What would you say, Tyler? Put you on the spot. Without
well,
pre-workout.
my ideal home workout would, oh boy, I honestly, if it was me, I would probably just be pushing cars and pulling cars and trying to find something heavy to pick up and move with. I come from a competitive strongman background, so um, which sucks because that really means I have no excuse on not having a gym because
Yeah,
if
let's talk about this, Tyler. What's going on? Come on now.
if
Let's
there's
start
something
busting your balls.
yeah, if there's something heavy and awkward around, I could use it. I don't know. I think if I was just gonna walk outside and do a workout, I like to mix stuff. So I like conditioning that also is like very taxing that you can almost kind of use as a strength workout too, which is why I love doing like light or medium car pushes because that murders your conditioning and your quads and everything. Um, and carries do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't really have any equipment to work out with at all. So like if there's a big ass rock, if there's like a log laying around, not like a legitimate tree log, um, car. If there's a if I'm working out with a partner, doing buddy carries and stuff, like going back to the old Marine Corps, stuff like that. That would be ideal. That's what I need to be doing. I don't
Yeah,
do it. I don't do enough of this. So.
I think with me, it's more about like the way I structure my workouts, and like on a workout day, normally what I have is I have three main focuses. I'll have my conditioning, which will be about 20, 30 minutes. I'll have my main workout, which will be another 20, 30 minutes,
Yep.
and then I have my accessory work at the very end. And the accessory work is probably one of my favorites because that's where I focus on shoulder stability. I focus, and I mean, you're already gassed by then, so that's the best part because you already did like 20 minutes of hard work.
I definitely need to come work out with you then because I hate accessories.
Yeah, the accessories.
If you could just walk into the gym and do a set and do squats, deadlifts, and overhead presses and leave every day, that'd be my dream world to live in, where like I don't have to do anything else. But that was yeah, that's pretty great. So like big things, schedule, habits, sleep schedule, and just get up and move and do something at home
because you want to, right? That's the main thing.
Yeah.
You want to be a better person,
and you got to do it for yourself. Like
yeah, exactly.
Doing it for you. But that I think that was a great talk. And but that's it for this week, guys. Next week we'll be back with another Coach's Corner. We'll be discussing topics, all through the year on, staying active, being healthy, moving back into civilian life, struggles we deal with, all kinds of stuff, anything and everything. So just tune in next week and see who we're talking to next week. We got a great dude coming on next week.
Totally. And remember, guys, the Coach's Corner is not a one-way conversation. We want you guys involved with us. We welcome any feedback or comments you might have. You can email us at coachescorner@catchaliftfun.com. Also, feel free to leave a comment on the show's YouTube post or on the Catch a Lift Instagram page. Veteran members, if you want to join us after the show right now for an open forum discussion on kind of the stuff we talked about today, talk to Ivan some more, email us at coachescorner@catchaliftfun.com. Put rally line in the subject line, and we'll get you guys a link to get on the live chat with us. And we're looking forward to hearing from you.
And I found out what my favorite workout is. It's earth downs.
Yeah,
that's my favorite workout. Chuck Norris.
All right. Hey, and we'd like to thank everybody at the Catch Lift Fund who's helped us put this together. Thanks, Lynn Coughlin and Henry Pomper for letting us do this and putting this all together. big shout out to ID Technologies. ID Technologies is one of our biggest supporters. They're putting a lot of work into the landing zone for our veterans. It's about to be opened up to a membership basis where we're gonna give all of our knowledge and expertise to anybody and everybody that wants to sign up and donate monthly to Catch a Lift Fund. We really couldn't do this without ID Technologies right now, especially during this time with COVID-19 and everything. So we deeply appreciate that. We deeply appreciate every supporter that has ever helped Catch a Lift Fund. So we want to thank you all, and we'll be back next week. Hopefully you will be too. Stay Cal strong.
Peace.
Stay Cal strong, guys. Thanks.